The death penalty is a public policy issue that's actually very close to my heart, albeit for kind of a weird reason. Its closeness has nothing to do with any wild passion or any personal experience, but because it's actually the first position I ever formally changed my mind on. It's the first time I was ever confronted with evidence that caused me to do a complete 180 on one of my political positions. And for that reason, my evolution on this topic is actually an important milestone in my political journey, which has taken me from being a typical Christian conservative to a more Ron Paul style libertarian to, well, whatever exactly it is you can call me now. So let's talk about it. Conversations about the death penalty often surround the question of whether or not it's ever just for a civil authority to take a human life as punishment for a crime. And this theoretical question is one that lends itself to a ridiculously, almost comically so, a large variety of answers. I have heard people say that executing any human for any reason is a blasphemous injustice against someone made in the image of God. I've also heard it said that sometimes it's literally the only just punishment for certain horrific crimes. And yeah, with a chasm as wide as that, it's not surprising that discussions on this topic can become, let's say, passionately heated. But as passionate as both camps are, I'm not actually in either one. Yeah, it might surprise some of you to find out that the philosophical question of the death penalty is actually one I'm undecided on. I think both sides have pretty solid cases, and I have long struggled to decide who has the stronger argument. But ultimately, I don't think it really matters, because whether or not the death penalty is just in theory isn't actually the most important question. The most important question is whether or not it can be just in practice. And the answer to that question is one I feel fully confident in my answer, and that answer is no. Now, why do I believe that? The answer is actually quite simple. The number of people exonerated from death row in America is not zero. In fact, since 1973, 167 people have been released. Innocent people. And let me be clear, there is no room whatsoever for error in the implementation of the death penalty. I'm not gonna shrug and be like, oh, well, we only executed a few innocent people. Like, absolutely not. A prerequisite for my supporting capital punishment for any reason is the guarantee that we'll never kill the wrong person. And that's just not possible. Ergo, I can't ever be in favor of it. I can't have a system where we might execute innocent people. To top that off, there's also no credible evidence it deters crime any more than just sentencing a felon to life in prison, which is a perfectly just punishment in and of itself. And, contrary to popular assumption, it's actually significantly less expensive to implement. So, in a way, you could argue that the abolition of civil executions is actually fiscally conservative. With all that said, the philosophical question of capital punishment, as I previously stated, is a tough one. I'm not sure I'll ever make up my mind. But in the end, it doesn't really matter, because I have plenty of other good reasons to be opposed to the death penalty.